Hi, my name's Jennifer Pasquale. I teach psychology at Swartz Creek High School in 11th and 12th grade.
What do you think is the problem with overcrowding in classrooms?
I think there's a lot of issues with overcrowding in classrooms. For the most part, my classes have always been around 33 to 35 students, except this year I've seen a huge increase in my AP, my advanced psychology classes. And I think there are some major issues with learning when it comes to overcrowding. The first thing is you spend so much more time doing classroom management that you don't get to spend as much time effectively teaching the students. I'll have a student, so I have 35 kids in the class. I'll have a student who asks a question over here, and as soon as I start to address their question, there's so many kids in the class that all the noise starts up. So I feel like I have less time to really get in like good in-depth question and answer stuff because I'm just spending more time just trying to keep everyone quiet, and there's just so many of them. Another major issue I think with overcrowding is you can't personally connect with the kids as well. You have so many that it's hard to get to know everyone. It's hard to get to know everyone's unique learning needs and learning styles. And I think kids learn better when they have some kind of personal connection with the teacher. Another major issue I think with overcrowding is it's really difficult to get the papers and assignments, especially in my advanced placement psychology class. Our units move really fast, so I need to be able to get the tests and their essays back to them with good, well thought out feedback quickly. And it takes so long when you have 150 students. So I think just classroom management issues, getting work back on time, effectively building relationships, those are the major areas I see.
How has it changed throughout the years that you've been teaching?
For me, I've always had bigger class sizes because I'm an elective and we don't offer as many electives as we could. We've had a lot of teachers that have retired and we haven't replaced them. So I've always had a lot of students in my classes, but I've really seen a change in my AP classes. I feel like some kids are just being placed in there because there necessarily isn't another class that really meets their needs, and I don't think it's probably the best placement for them. So that's another unique challenge. But I have talked to other teachers in the building, and once because we're a school of choice, there are a lot of schools that are closing in other areas, particularly some Flint schools, so we're having a lot of students that are been displaced out of their schools that are coming to our building, but we're not hiring more teachers. So all of us are just crammed up to 35, 33, 34, 35 students in a class.
How do you think it affects grades and their well-being in the classroom?
I do think it can affect the grades for some of the reasons I already stated. First of all, you can't get their stuff back to them in as timely of a manner. So it's best, especially in my AP classes, if they take the test, and if I try to get it back the next day or within 2 days, so then they can quickly reflect on the things that I write on there and the mistakes that they made. And if I can't get that back, then there's just a disconnect between what I was tested on, the corrections my teacher made. So just not being able to get that work back fast enough, I think affects their grades. Not having that really good, strong personal connection with the teacher might make it so they're not as motivated in the class. Some kids just don't do as well in classes where there are 35 kids. We can often see that the lower amount of students in a class, the more they excel because they get more one-on-one time, it's not as noisy, there's not as many behavioral issues. So I think that's a major way I've seen it affect grades.
And how do you and other teachers feel about it?
For the most part, we do get a small stipend. We do get a little bit of an extra pay. Every student over 34 we get, but most teachers, the consensus I hear among my colleagues is that it's not worth it. The small amount of money that you get, it's not worth it because again, it's not what's good for students. For me, the optimal amount of class size would be 25, 30 at the most. I personally believe, and my colleagues have shared this as well, once you get over that 30 and it makes it so much harder to get things done, to get through the curriculum.
All right, thank you.
But thank you.